You open an old photo on your phone, just for a second, and something in your chest tightens. A song comes on the radio. You haven't heard it in 15 years. Suddenly you're not in your car anymore. You're somewhere else entirely, somewhere that doesn't exist anymore. Why does your brain do this to you? Scientists used to think nostalgia was a disease, not a metaphor, an actual diagnosis. In 1688, a Swiss physician named Johannes Hofer coined the term to describe soldiers who were dying, slowly, from missing home. He called it a cerebral disease. Doctors prescribed leeches, they prescribed opium, they prescribed a return to the Alps if the soldier could survive the journey. For nearly 300 years, nostalgia was treated as a sickness of the mind, a weakness, something to be cured. But what if it was never a disease at all? What if it was the opposite? What if nostalgia was one of the most important survival tools your ancestors ever developed? Here's the strange part. Nostalgia doesn't just make you sad. Researchers have spent the last 2 decades trying to figure out what it actually does to you, and the answers keep surprising them. Psychologist Konstantin Sedikidis, who has studied nostalgia for over 20 years at the University of Southampton, found something nobody expected. People who engage in nostalgia regularly report higher self-esteem, stronger feelings of social connection, a clearer sense of meaning in their lives, even physical warmth. In one experiment, participants who recalled nostalgic memories rated the room around them as literally warmer than participants who did not. That should not make sense. A memory cannot change the temperature of a room, but it can change how your body responds to the temperature of a room. Your brain in that moment is doing something ancient. Think about what nostalgia actually requires. You have to remember a specific place, a specific group of people, a specific feeling of safety. And you have to be able to summon that feeling again, on demand, thousands of miles and years away from where it happened. That is not a small trick. That is an enormous cognitive feat. So why would evolution bother building it? Consider your ancestors, tens of thousands of years ago. They lived in small, tight bands. Survival depended almost entirely on the group. A person cut off from their tribe, alone in unfamiliar territory, faced almost certain death. No weapons stronger than a spear, no shelter but what they could build by hand, no food but what the group could find together. Isolation was not lonely, isolation was lethal. Now imagine that same person, separated from the group during a hunt gone wrong, lost, cold, afraid. What would keep them moving forward instead of giving up? What would pull them back toward camp instead of wandering deeper into danger? A memory, a specific, vivid, emotionally charged memory of the fire, the faces, the warmth, the feeling of belonging to something larger than themselves. Psychologist Christine Bacho, who has researched nostalgia at Lemoyne College for decades, describes it as a kind of psychological anchor. It reminds you, in moments of stress or disconnection, that you belong somewhere, that you have belonged before, that belonging is possible again. Bacho's research found that people who score higher in nostalgia proneness also report greater resilience during difficult life transitions. Moving to a new city, losing a job, grieving a loss. The people who could reach back and touch a warm memory recovered faster than those who could not. That is not sentimentality. That is a survival mechanism disguised as a feeling. Here's where it gets stranger. Nostalgia is almost never triggered by ordinary days. Nobody gets nostalgic for a Tuesday where nothing happened. Nostalgia is triggered by threshold moments, cold weather, loneliness, uncertainty about the future, a sense that something has been lost and cannot be recovered. In other words, nostalgia activates exactly when you need it most. Exactly when your ancestors would have been most vulnerable. Exactly when a pullback toward connection could mean the difference between giving up and pushing forward. Your brain built an emotional alarm system, and it disguised the alarm as warmth, so you would want to listen to it. Think about what happens the next time a smell takes you back 20 years. Cut grass, a certain perfume, the inside of your grandmother's car. That is not your brain malfunctioning. That is one of the oldest systems you have, still running exactly as designed, pulling you back toward the people and places that once kept you alive. There is something else researchers have found, something almost nobody expects. Nostalgia does not just look backward. It changes how you move forward. Sedikidis' research found that nostalgic reflection increases what psychologists call approach motivation, the drive to pursue goals. to take action, to reconnect with people you have drifted from. People who spend time in nostalgic reflection are more likely to reach out to old friends, more likely to pursue new relationships, more likely to feel optimistic about challenges ahead of them. That should sound backwards. Looking at the past should keep you stuck in the past. But your brain is not using the memory as a place to stay. It is using the memory as fuel to keep going. So the next time nostalgia hits you out of nowhere, in a grocery store aisle, at a red light, in the middle of an ordinary afternoon, consider what is actually happening underneath it. You are not simply remembering. You are being reminded that you have survived before, that you have belonged before. That connection is not a luxury. It is, and always has been, a matter of life and death. Your ancestors did not have therapists. They did not have journals or self-help books or long conversations about mental health. What they had was memory, and the ability to feel it deeply enough to act on it. That system did not disappear when your world changed. It is still inside you, right now, quietly deciding what counts as home. You open an old photo on your phone, just for a second, and something in your chest tightens. That is not weakness. That is not sadness dressed up as a feeling. That is one of the oldest parts of you, still doing exactly what it was built to do, still trying to keep you alive.